Anytime you use a credit card, if you do not pay off the balance each month, you'll get charged interest for using that money because you're using somebody else's money and they don't want to let you use it for free. So then you have to pay an interest charge. So credit cards is where you also play. Okay. And that is basically you're using their money. It's a fee to use their money. It is also based on a percent. Okay, it's based on a percent. Now, when you get into these kinds of things, most of the time you're paying compound interest, which we're not talking about right now. There's two kinds of interest, simple and compound. Compound interest is basically where they start calculating interest on the interest. And so it really actually, it adds up to be a lot more interest because you start getting charged interest on the interest. Okay. Simple interest is probably what you'll do when you loan a person money, and you'll do a very simple interest on it. And so that's really where simple interest comes in, okay? So this is a formula for simple interest. This is the formula. This stands for interest. It's the money that is the interest. Okay. Might need to write this down because you're going to be using it in your homework. So even though you have food to eat, you might want to make sure you write this down so that you can refer to it. That's why we take notes. So you can refer to it as you're doing homework.
All of it?
Whatever you want to write down. If you want to, you can.
We are filming the video so we can look back at it.
Yes, but it's yes.
Doesn't ours stand for rate?
Yes, it does. Thank you. This stands for the interest rate. This is the rate. Okay. The P stands for, is called the principal. But what that really is the money that is borrowed. That's how much money was borrowed. Okay, that's what the P stands for. And our rate usually is per year. So that means my time will be in years. That is time in years. T is time. Okay. So basically we can calculate simple interest on a loan if we know how long they're going to borrow it, what we're going to charge them, and how much they're borrowing. We can figure out how much interest they're going to have to pay. Okay, so let's do one. Let's say I am borrowing $300 from somebody. They're going to charge me 5% interest. Let's go $3,000, and they're going to lend it to me for 2 years. Okay, so this is the amount borrowed. This is my P. This is my R, and this is my T. This is in years. This is in dollars, and this is the rate per year. Okay. So we can calculate our interest by just multiplying these three things together. Okay, that's simple interest. We multiply the three things together. So here, the interest would equal 3,000 times 0.05 times 2. Why did I change that number there from 5% interest to 0.05? Yes.
Cause you had to change it to a decimal.
Yes, when we're working with percents, we need to change them to decimals, okay? So we can actually figure out what interest I'd have to pay if I borrowed $3,000 for 2 years. And this is how much interest I'd have to pay, yes.
300.
It's $300, okay, yes it is. The interest would be $300. So when I pay them back, how much am I gonna have to pay them back? Yes,
3,300.
yes, I'm gonna have to pay them the original amount, the $3,000, plus an additional $300, because I borrowed their money and used it for that long. They didn't have use of their money. So you have to pay them $300 for using their money. It's kind of like you borrowed it, but you have to pay for borrowing it. Okay, so that is simple interest. That is a lot of times what people do when they're loaning to their friends or their family. They will charge them just simple interest. Now, I am not actually charging my kids simple interest. I'm doing the other one, the compound interest, just because they're gonna borrow it for a lot longer than the 2 years. So I'm charging more interest on that, okay? So that's a way that we use percents. So taxes are a huge way we use percents in our life. The interest rates are huge ways we use percents, and you need to understand what all that means, because when you start getting money that you make, you need to decide what to do with it and where are you going to make more money. How do you make more money with it? Okay, so those are all things that you use. So that's one of the other ones that it does in here. I'm actually going to take more time just because there are so many uses of interest and percents that I think we're going to take extra time on this. And I'm actually going to skip section 3.9 for right now. We're going to not do that right yet. We're going to do that starting the following week. What I'm going to have you do